let's get into the content. We're going to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. So, we have an exclusive story, ladies and gentlemen, coming to us from That Park Place. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger here. And this story is something we all saw coming. You saw it coming. I saw it coming. We all saw it coming. So it says exclusive, Assassin's Creed Shadows. The delay was to scale back Yasuke after historical backlash. Now, you guys are aware, I said this months ago when the game was first delayed, that there's no way that Ubisoft is delaying the game to fix bugs. There's no way. There was 3 reasons why, more so 2 reasons why, but three reasons why ultimately they delayed the game. Number 1, they could not get another failure in 2024. They couldn't. They just couldn't. Between X Defiant, right, Skull and Bones, and Star Wars Outlaws, they lost about $1 billion between those 3 video games. So they could not release another game that's going to fail in 2024. They couldn't do it. They could not do it. Number 2, with all the backlash that was mounting against Yasuke, and they made their statement to the Japanese apologizing to them, they ended up delaying the game shortly after that apology, which led me to believe that they were going to make Yasuke insignificant in the story. That was the entire reason why for this delay. They wanted to spend the next 3 to 4 months making Yasuke as insignificant as possible to the overall story and push the story towards Naoe. Because Naoe is the actual Japanese protagonist in the game, even though she's a female ninja and nobody really wanted to necessarily play a female ninja. We wanted to play a male, Japanese samurai. They ended up pushing it to, they pushed it to Naoe. So let's read this exclusive article. Again, this is from That Park Place. Shout out to That Park Place. You know what's amazing? I'm going to tell you the difference between That Park Place and Fandom Pulse. So Fandom Pulse, I used to cover a lot of their articles and give my own spin on it. And after Goodergate, they basically told me to go fuck off or whatever. And you know what That Park Place did? Bro, the new editor-in-chief over at That Park Place, he messaged me on Twitter. And he was like, hey, just so you know, I appreciate when you cite our articles. Thank you for using our website. We appreciate you. Anything we could do, let me know. What a fucking difference, bro. What a difference. So again, shout out to That Park Place. You guys, I use them whenever I can, whenever they cover gaming stuff. If it's relevant and it's good info, I'll use them. But that's a base response. So shout out to you. So That Park Place source has confirmed that Ubisoft delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows in order to make a narrative cut that severely limits the role of Yasuke in the story. Ubisoft made headlines recently by delaying the game a whole month. Many assumed at the time that Shadows was a buggy mess, similar to Ubisoft's Star Wars Outlaws when it launched. And while that may have been true, early hands-on streams have shown more than a few glitches and bugs. We have it on good authority that there's something else going on behind the scenes. Now, I told you guys, okay? I told you guys so much, like, Ubisoft does not care about bugs, all right? There is not a shot in hell that Ubisoft would ever delay a video game and stop profit from coming in sooner. There is not a shot in hell. If Ubisoft is delaying their game, there is a whole nother reason as to why they're delaying their game. We already know that the bugs was not the reason, because if you guys have been looking at all the gameplay recently, which we did the other day on Hypnocast, you'll realize that the gameplay is a buggy mess. You got NPCs bugging out, and they're glitching because Yasuke kicked them so fucking hard that the G-forces of his kick made them glitch out. The NPCs are not fighting back. The dogs won't let you pet them. It's all kinds of nonsense. So Ubisoft does not care about fixing bugs. They're not that kind of company. That's like if Bethesda said they were going to delay a video game to fix bugs. Who would believe them? Who would believe them? If you believe, I'm telling you, if you believe Bethesda, when they say, oh yeah, we're delaying this game because we are trying to fix bugs. If you believe them, let it be known that is bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. Nobody would believe them. So it's the same thing with Ubisoft. So let's read this. As YouTube host SkillUp mentioned, after playing the game for 5 hours, he primarily played as Yasuke, but noted that the experience was vastly different and inferior compared to playing as Naoe. According to him, Yasuke lacks the same versatility as Naoe, not just in combat, but also in exploration. Surprisingly, Yasuke doesn't have the same opportunities, such as climbing higher towers. This gave the impression that Yasuke is locked into a more limited, one-dimensional role within the game. Yeah, if you need to beat the shit out of someone, or if you need to knock the heads off of pregnant women in the game who are unarmed, then that's when you're going to play Yasuke. Otherwise, you're going to play as Naoe. That aligns with a rumor recently communicated by that Park Play source, speaking under the condition of anonymity. According to our source, the $20 million delay of Assassin's Creed Shadows was not merely to polish the game, but to shift focus away from Yasuke as the main protagonist. Evidence of this can already be seen in the marketing, where Yasuke is increasingly absent from prominent posters that feature Naoe more prominently instead. This appears to be a reaction to the backlash Ubisoft has faced, not only from longtime fans of the franchise, but also from many Japanese critics angered by Yasuke's portrayal as a far more significant historical figure than he actually was. Somebody in the chat said, need more. Yo, Revan says we need more rap music. Oh, man. Furthermore, rumors suggest that many of Yasuke's quests, including main and side content, have been removed or heavily altered. These cuts are reportedly intended to avoid offending Japanese audiences and historians who have criticized the game's historical inaccuracy. A significant portion of the controversy ties back to Thomas Lockley, whose work Ubisoft allegedly used as the primary inspiration for Yasuke's character. I'm going to let you guys know this. And I'm sure most of you know this if you've been following the Assassin's Creed Shadows drama. Do you guys understand that Yasuke and his actual real historical context is limited to about a page to a page and a half of history? That's literally it. Yasuke, all Yasuke has in actual Japanese text, in real preserved history, all he has is about a page to a page and a half of context. That is it. That's all he has. About a page. And it's only a few sentences in Japanese. That is it. So everything that they have on Yasuke was from Thomas Lockley. Thomas Lockley made up all this shit about Yasuke. And people take what he said as Bible. They take what he says as truth. Now, again, there are a lot of shills out there, and I know them. I know what they're saying already. I already did a video on it. I know what they're saying. The shills out there are saying that, oh, you racists didn't have a problem with it when it came to Neo because Yasuke was a Neo. Really? So you're trying to compare Yasuke showing up as an alternative character, just an NPC, somebody you can fight on the random. You're comparing that to him representing all of feudal Japan as a protagonist in a video game. And according to Ubisoft, he's going to represent what it means to really have the samurai spirit. You really are trying to compare those two things? And by the way, Neo was made by Japanese developers. And they didn't market him as the legendary samurai. They marketed him as a vague figure in history. He's essentially, at this point, a folklore character. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Marketing him as a vague figure in history, selling a story about him that's not true, but it's fun to be told, kind of like a folklore character. But at the end of the day, he's not a real historical figure as a samurai, not as Ubisoft is trying to portray him. So then people say, well, it's fake. It doesn't matter. So if it's fake, it doesn't matter. Why did you suddenly try to stop what you've been doing for the last, I don't even know how many Assassin's Creed games? Almost every single Assassin's Creed game has protagonists that are based in the country of origin of which the game takes place. Almost every single one of them. Why did you suddenly stop now when you got to Assassin's Creed fucking Japan? Why did you stop now? Because, listen, quite frankly, people don't give a fuck about Asians. They disrespect Asians all the time. White liberals disrespect Asians all the time. The hardcore white liberals disrespect them all the time. They love consuming anime content, which is why all of them, all of the troons out there use anime profile pictures as their profile pictures because they love consuming anime content. They love consuming Japanese content. But once it comes down to respecting the Japanese, forget about it. They're not going to do it because they won't let them control them. That's the problem. These same people will not let them, they will not let them control them. Asian people defeat the narrative of DEI. Asian people throw the narrative of DEI out the fucking water by a long shot. And that's why they don't like them. Because the troons and the wokies want to be able to control Asian people like they do some of the black people, some of the Hispanic people and all that. But Asians, no, they're not playing that, bro. You're not going to be able to oppress them like that. So they disrespect them every chance they get. And I talked about this in my last stream. It's the same thing here. But they got no problems taking their culture. They got no problems consuming their content. They'll consume all the manga. They'll consume all the anime. They'll even visit Tokyo probably. But they'll be absolutely fucking rude when it comes to the Japanese defending their standpoint and saying, hey, this is kind of dumb. Why are you being so disrespectful to Japanese people? Then they'll call them racist. Isn't that incredible? How are you going to call the Japanese people racist for the depiction of their own homeland? That makes no sense. So anyway, let's continue. It says Lockley, who co-authored African Samurai, the true story of Yasuke, which, again, not true at all. A legendary black warrior in feudal Japan has been accused of grossly exaggerating and fabricating much of Yasuke's history. His portrayal has been widely debunked by historians who argue that Yasuke was likely a bodyguard and servant rather than a legendary samurai, as Lockley claimed. Bro, these people are trying to convince you. They're trying to convince you that Yasuke, within 15 months, because he was in Japan for 15 months, they're trying to convince you that Yasuke not only learned Japanese, got close with Oda Nobunaga, but became a legendary samurai in 15 months. When have you ever seen somebody who is a tourist to a homeland visit that homeland and rise to the top in 15 months? When does that ever happen? Very rarely, if ever. Imagine moving from the United States to Japan, and within 15 months, you're a samurai. What? And you know Japanese, and you know, like, when does that happen? When does that happen? Never happens. So again, he's trying to sell that story because it's a good story to tell. It's a good story to tell. It's a fun story to tell. Which again, nobody would have a problem if he was some DLC character, side character, or if you weren't lying about it and calling him a legendary samurai when he wasn't. There's a reason why the Japanese don't say that. In any case, so let's keep going. Lockley's dismissal from discussions around the game have been subtle but noticeable. Ubisoft initially promoted him as a key source for the character, but has since gone silent on his involvement. This silence coincides with a wave of backlash from scholars, particularly in Japan, who criticize Lockley's claims as speculative at best and outright false at worst. So it is rumored that some of Yasuke's cut content in the game, including quests tied to his supposed rise as a samurai, were directly influenced by Lockley's work and later removed to avoid further controversy. Ubisoft's response to this backlash seems to include a shift in marketing focus, with greater emphasis on Naoe's parkour system, which is true. If you guys look at Assassin's Creed's main account, you'll realize that they're only really promoting Naoe. Like, very rarely do you see them promoting Yasuke. They're promoting Naoe, her combat, her parkour, and all this stuff. They're shifting all of it to Naoe. Trailers that initially highlighted Yasuke's samurai way during the game's announcement are now conspicuously less centered on him, reflecting a clear pivot in how the game is presented. Whether this last-minute reworking can salvage the project or not remains to be seen, but the changes seem like a desperate attempt to appease critics and salvage public perception. But it doesn't end there. Our sources state that Ubisoft's change in approach has gone even further. Oh, this is great. The delay was used to refine Naoe's parkour system significantly and to heavily alter many dialogue interactions between Yasuke, Naoe, and other NPCs throughout the story. However, as our source mentioned, they can only do so much. Among these dialogue changes were discussions where Yasuke was previously presented as a samurai, and celebrated for his renown among Japanese NPCs. Now, it seems to be altered to focus on the Creed, which will be built by both main characters, with Naoe taking a more prominent role. Dude, I'm telling you right now. Oh, we got a hater. Wait, we got. Hey, I see it in the chat. Hold on. Yes. I get to play the clip. Who is this? Wait, who is this? Nobody cares. Get over it. It's just a video game. You care. You're in here. Thank you. I can play my clip. That is amazing. Dude, I'm so happy. It worked. And on top of that, he looks like he's from that clip that I have. Bro, are you in this clip? Are you the last guy in this clip?
Thousands of niggas is waiting for your motherfucking call, and they all talking shit up on that ass right now. Big niggas. Thick niggas. Curvaceous niggas. Affectionate niggas.
Mwah, nigga. You want that true nigga shit? It's called a line off top.
Is that you? Is that you kissing up on other black guys? Oh, shit. Illuminated perspectives. Thank you so much for joining the stream. Make sure to hit that dislike button. Let's continue. Guys, damn, I'm so happy I got to play my clip. I'm so happy that it actually worked. I didn't think that was going to work so fast. That worked so fast. This man is kissing other black booty in the chat right now. Yo, watch your booty holes. Everybody in the chat, watch your booty holes. Perspective is out there trying to get your booty hole. Relax. He's on the down low. He doesn't want anybody to know. He's a little bit sensitive. Relax. Protect your booty holes, everybody. All right, the big black python is coming after you right now. So anyway, now he's going to take a more prominent role. Ubisoft has reworked cutscenes where Yasuke was initially featured more prominently, with Naoe now portrayed as the driving force of the duo. From what we understand, it feels almost as though Naoe has taken the lead role, even though players will still have the option to switch between the two characters. I do find it interesting two things, right? If Yasuke genuinely is taking a back burner on the story, if they don't reference Yasuke as a samurai, I'm going to be shocked. Because as you guys are aware, in the English US promotion, he's referenced as a legendary samurai. In Japan, he's referenced as the 1,000 warrior something. I don't know. A warrior worth 1,000. That's how he's referenced. A warrior worth 1,000. So I wonder in the US version, is he going to be referenced as a samurai? Or if he's going to be referenced as something else. If they don't reference him as a samurai, that's going to be wild. That is going to be wild. That's going to be a mission that they 100% rework the game. Because you know for a fact they want to reference him as a samurai. So if they made those changes and they don't reference him as one, that's going to be interesting. I doubt that they're going to reference him as one in Japan. I doubt it. The word samurai is never going to come out. Never. And then number two, I find it interesting that the gameplay is so different, right? So back in the day, obviously with Assassin's Creed games, you were able to traverse the environment with your one character. Now it seems like they have two characters, one that's more for combat and brute force, and the other one is for your typical Assassin's Creed stuff, your traversal, exploration, all that stuff. If you're not going to be able to climb anything with Yasuke, I mean, that means you're going to be playing as Naoe most of the time. If you can't go through the environment, what the fuck is the point of playing as Yasuke outside of combat? There's no point in playing him. You would want to play as Naoe most of the time. So I just find that to be very interesting if they do decide to go that route and make Yasuke unable to traverse the environment in ways that Naoe can. But at the very least, we can guarantee that Yasuke is going to play out the fantasy of illuminated perspectives, the hater in the chat, which is he wants to take a club and knock the head off of a pregnant, unarmed woman in the video game. Of course, in the video game. I'm not talking about real life, you racist. What's wrong with you? I'm talking about in the video game. So that's going to be the power. He can't wait to do that, right? He told me himself he can't wait to do that. He said in the chat, he said, who cares? Who cares, right? So he's excited to knock the head off of a pregnant woman in the video game. He's excited. It's the first time he's been able to kill civilians in Assassin's Creed without any penalty whatsoever. And of course, the first time they do that is with a black protagonist. So go figure. Anyway, I guess they must have taken a rule book out of California. Something about you can steal $999 and not get arrested or not even be charged. Something like that. I guess this is the equivalent of that. Who knows? Who knows? Our source also stated that the delay was primarily aimed at reevaluating Yasuke's role to avoid further bad press from historical fanatics. Historical fanatics. Wow, that's great. Ubisoft reportedly sought to minimize criticism from Japanese historians by making the game more historically accurate where possible. However, as seen in recent previews, many inaccuracies still remain. For instance, water malones were not introduced to Japan during the Sengoku era, the 15th, 16th century, despite their presence in the game. Water malones were brought to Japan much later, during the Edo period, likely via Chinese traders in the 17th century. So that it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. Why do they have water malones? Why do they have water malones in a game featuring Yasuke? Why do they have that? Why do they have that? Why do they have water malones? I don't know. At this point, we're just speculating. Additionally, the game's depiction of Japan's seasons is historically and geographically inaccurate, which we already knew that for ages. With cherry blossoms incorrectly shown blooming during summer rather than spring. And a glaring mistake given how iconic the culturally significant the Sakura season is in Japan. Well, yeah, quite frankly, what they've been doing is throwing around Sakura trees everywhere. They're throwing it everywhere. Because for the lefty liberal, or for morons like the hater in the chat, they look at the Sakura tree and they're like, oh, that's totally Japanese. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I'm totally down with this. Yes. Yes, I am. Oh, my God. Look at that Sakura tree. That is so anime. Wow. That's so anime. Let me look at this Sakura tree while I cut up this watermelon. Yeah. Yeah, that's just top tier anime, baby. Yeah. Yeah, this is great. I feel like I'm watching anime right now. Fuck these people, man. Fuck these people. So how much did Ubisoft really try to change? According to our source, the most erroneous inaccuracies were related to Yasuke's portrayal, and efforts were made to mitigate these issues. However, they added that there are still individuals within Ubisoft who remain adamant that Yasuke's character will resonate with players and become a success despite the backlash and mounting criticism. Well, hey, at least they got one fan. They got one fan in the chat right now. Shout out to Booty Adams' boyfriend over here. Shout out to Booty Adams' boyfriend over here who's flexing his traps so damn hard. He's trying to make them seem really big in the picture, right? This man's trying to pull a fucking Macho Man Randy Savage, the black edition. He's trying to flex his traps as much. He's like, oh, yeah, Hulk Hogan style. You know what I'm saying? He's like, hold on. If I can flex them just enough and get someone to take a picture of it, it'll make me look like I'm strunk. I'm strunk. And then maybe Booty Adams in Paris will finally notice me. And maybe he'll let me finally kiss that booty hole. I saw Daddy got money. He donated $1,500. I'm excited. I'm excited. He wants to be Moo Jr. Oh, no, he's trying to be on top. He's trying to be the Moo person on top. That's what he's trying to be. Anyway. Yeah, he's strunk. Yeah, strunk. I'm strunk. Oh, man. He takes long to respond because, again, like the governor of New York said, black people do not know how to use computers. So please let him take his time responding. I can get about 10 insults out before he can even type half a sentence. You got to give him some time. You got to give him some time, okay? But listen, at the end of the day, while he's typing a response, let's celebrate our differences.
We got to celebrate our differences. We got to celebrate our differences.
Ooga booga doo, ooga booga do.
We got to celebrate our differences.
Nacho taco, chimichanga.
Cause it's beautiful when the whole world sings together as one.
All right, guys. Well, that's basically it for the Assassin's Creed story from That Park Place. Shout out to That Park Place. I'm going to link their article in the chat. Just give them a click. Give them a click. Give them some support. Show some love. The fact that they have an insider talking to them now, it's great. And it's one of those things where alternative websites from the mainstream gaming journalism, it's needed, right? It's no different than the YouTubers. You look at what's happening, guys. YouTubers are getting insiders. Look at Varadark, bro. Varadark just interviewed the head developer over at CI Games, the person behind Lords of the Fallen. Look at what's happening around you. Look at what's happening around you. They are starting to realize that the mainstream gaming journalism, it's done. Nobody gives a fuck about them, bro. They lost the control of the narrative. It's not even about the narrative. At the end of the day, they lost control, period. They thought they were too big to fail. They hate gamers. They attack people left and right every single day. They claim to be victims. They run around this entire story. And look at what's happening now. The developers are reaching out to YouTubers. The developers, the insiders are reaching out to places like That Park Place instead of Kotaku. It's amazing. It's a beautiful thing to see. And you got people coping and seething, as you can see in the chat. You got people coping and seething. Hardcore. So I'm going to end it on this, and then we're going to do Super Chats and Waifu Battle. So consider this a nice big fuck you to the man who doesn't even know how to use a computer.